Apple has released a new security feature on their M1 chip, and that has not been out in the market that long. So what do you think about this, Joe? Because I'm like, my mind is like blown on this type of security features. And what do you think about this? Do you think it's gonna change the world, or is this gonna be more benefit on Apple, more controlling? What do you think on this?
Well, I think the biggest draw from Apple is security, right? Security and creative works. And they kind of go hand in hand because if then your creative works are more secure, it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, copyright and everything else, and you want things to be like tight lipped until you're ready to, monetize whatever you're creating and everything. And, or, let's say you're working on some project for some company or something and you want that to be secure and not to be leaked. Um, they go hand in hand. And
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool. Apple couldn't afford to do it before because they had some economic problems in like I think the was it the 90s,
I think
um
so.
with them and with Microsoft, they had to make some deal. So they had to like use some decades to build up their market share of other products to the point where they can now develop some of these like these nodes, these fabs of their own on their own CPUs and stuff. Like that's expensive to get into the market. So many other
Yeah,
companies already left the market because they couldn't compete, and AMD and Intel were the last two really. And then there's all the other ones too, like Qualcomm and everything else that aren't talked about as much, that I don't know a lot about. But there's the other ones that, like the ARM processors and stuff like that. But the point is that like Apple's now like saying, it's hard just to come in. I don't know how the other people, how like ARM and other people came in and did it, but they were on smaller scale.
yeah,
Apple's designing a bigger CPU, with the M1. It's bigger than just like an ARM, processor.
correct.
So it's a way bigger undertaking to get into the market like that. But again, they could do it because they have such a big portfolio.
Correct,
And yeah,
definitely.
oh, and they were saying like it was because they couldn't control every aspect of their security, and this was one of the last ones they needed, is to be able to control everything about the CPU. And if some of that stuff was controlled by Intel with proprietary or whatever there is technical in there that Intel wouldn't let Apple manipulate to make it more
Mhm.
secure because it's
Yep.
Intel's, right?
Yep.
Because it's like Intel and Apple, they're just two different chefs that disagree on how to get security done, right?
Yeah,
Apple now
definitely.
want Apple wants to do it their way, and now they can't.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely.
you said you've used the Touch ID,
Correct.
the biometric.
Correct. Yep. I use the biometric with my finger. I use the swipe features. I've used the pin. I use all that on my phone.
And surprisingly, before they added some features like that, like 49% of the people um they use the passcodes on their phone. So like half the people basically didn't lock their phones.
Correct.
And so when Apple increased more security things like, oh hey, you could use your fingerprint or you could do this, people actually have more secured phones because they weren't using what Apple gave them in the first place.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's yeah, it's kind of it's cool that Apple has some things in the background that protect you, and then they have some things that they encourage you to activate more things, and now they're just doing it a little bit more with making sure that there's no, like, because there was for Intel and AMD, I think it was called Scepter or some other, I can't remember the term right now, but there
Right.
was like a year, like a few 2-3 years ago, there were some major security problems for Intel and AMD CPUs.
Yeah.
It's called like Scepter meltdown or like Spectre meltdown or something, and they had to like go into their coding and the CPUs, and like they had to actually make their CPUs perform slower to have more security, because there were that many big gaps in their security measures. And so Apple didn't like that at all when that happened, right? That people found out that there's way too many. Like Apple goes out and they like pay people like 1.5 million for a certain to make sure when you find that there's some way to like hack their system and you tell them without like exploiting other people, they pay a bounty basically to like make, you know, to good-willed people, you know.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
they didn't like it that it was way beyond just like the typical like 1.5 million that you would shell out for like some security issues, right? It was more like something that you would like pay somebody probably like 100 million or something because it was like that big of a security breach. So Apple with their brand, they can't afford to let AMD or Intel control that anymore. It damaged their brand some.
Yep. Well, I do have a question for you, Joe, because
Sure.
I know that we brought this up in the last time. Would you use biometric scans for your finger? Would you?
No, no. I have, you know, I lock my phone. I have a pin on it, right?
Huh?
Um, there are some times where I did like when I, you know, with this global problem where I'm at home all the time. I took the password off because I knew I wasn't like bringing the phone out a lot. I was keeping it at home, and then I would go out without the phone sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think personally the pin is enough. I'd like to show me like how bad just using the pin is. You know, like I want Apple to show us like statistics about how many phones are locked into, you know, like accessed when they just have a pin versus the biometrics. And that would maybe like push me over the edge to say, "Oh, look, you know, your phone could be 33% less likely, you know, cuz this is, you know, I need some data." You know what I mean? I'm not just going to willingly give over my biometrics without seeing how much I'm giving up. You know? So that's just me with my personal stuff. Like, oh, did I tell you though about biometrics? How I'm a mixed bag.
Go
I
for it.
actually don't
Explain.
mind. I don't mind giving away my data if it benefits me. Like for 23andMe, you know what that is?
Oh, explain.
So 23andMe, I gave them, I believe it was saliva. I gave them my DNA. So it's like basically the biometric fingerprint. I gave
They're
them my
cloning you.
DNA.
They're cloning. They're cloning you, man. Now, oh man, now we're gonna have like 10,000 Joes coming out in
I gave them
invasion.
I gave them my DNA so they can analyze it and see what genes are like malignant. You know, like they're like, oh, you're coded for male baldness pattern, you know, because of these gene markers and stuff. So I was free to do stuff like that, but like fingerprints. Okay, the reason why I didn't do fingerprints is because fingerprints are like the whole thing about like you know, like forged fingerprints. You know,
Yep.
I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea that my fingerprints are out there and someone could like try to like reconstruct them and say I was somewhere where I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, like put down like fake fingerprints of who I am. I don't know if that's possible, but that's like always been one paranoid thing that of mine. Think that's
Crazy
true?
Joe.
And
No,
that's
I
like
don't think so.
not really likely. Not likely.
No, no,
You don't think
I
like the
don't think so.
government or some agency could put down some fake prints and say, "Hey, this person was at this scene of the crime or whatever."
I
Like
haven't checked.
let's frame them.
You know what? You want me to try it? I could try to get my fingerprint and start duplicating it everywhere, see if it works. And run into an
I,
ATM and see, and or somewhere that uses biometric and try to use my fingerprint on it.
yeah, I'm just curious if anybody's ever been if anybody on any like, you know, on, you know, any, well, I don't want to say the words, you know, but if you at any court systems claim that they were framed with false fingerprints and stuff.
I know people were framed for a lot of other things, but never heard of this one.
Well, you having yeah, like false biometrics or something.
I've never heard of that yet. Yet, like I said, yet.
And that's just my
We're
paranoia, right?
it could be just a paranoia thing, man. But I'm not. I'm not gonna hold you to it, man, because today, this 21st century thing, man, it's coming. It's a lot of things changing in this world.
Well, and you know, the Face ID unlock system, that stuff is already in there for, I believe, when I got my driver's license for Real ID. I believe they're using a lot more tracking software to scan your face
Correct. Oh,
when you do
also
it.
too, I'm not sure if you knew this. If you, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you remember the Face app. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
It'll make you old. Did you use that app or not?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
Are you
well,
referring to like beards or no?
yeah, beards, no beards, with a face changing, make you look older, make you do this, do that. I don't know if you remember that app. Now, a
Yeah.
lot of people, it went viral a few months. I think we covered it on our podcast. That it was made in Russia. It was stealing our faces and using it for AI learning. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, no, I thought you were gonna make the point that like beards like give the facial recognition software a run for their money. That it's harder for them to map a beard than it is to map a clean face.
I was going to say that they use that to actually map your face in Russia, and several other companies have done that to actually build AI, to actually build how your facial, they could reconstruct faces, they can make numerous faces just out of people's, out of the, shapes, the nose positions and all that stuff. So imagine you already got your face copied on some server, Joe, just because you use that app for a beard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. We got to think about that. Your face is everywhere all over the internet now, probably. So I try to be mean, but yeah, it's out there already. It's like, I use a face app too. My face is blown up all over the world. It's all over the world. You should see I've used my face everywhere for so many apps. I see somebody try it. Hey man, it's like, let me try it. Let me download it. I'm the idiot. I'm the guinea pig for all you guys out here. All over the people that listen to the podcast, I am the guinea pig for you guys to show y'all, to make sure y'all know that this stuff is actually happening out there for you.
Yeah.
So
there might be somebody on Facebook who uses your face and pretends to friend you or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's happened, not to me, but a couple of friends they grab photos.
Oh yeah, I've actually had that happen. Yeah.
And they just start asking you questions, and they start, I'm surprised that they have not done this yet. They create a fake Facebook of you, and they send you a request. They add you as a friend. That would be a plot twist.
They actually, I mean, I was a fool. I actually fell for that once.
Really?
Like for a minute. Like I don't know why. Like I'm not sure if I friended them for a second or something. Then they started talking to me. I'm like, wait a second, wasn't I already a friend with that person? Why am I friending them again? Right? I'm serious. They caught me. And then what happened was, the way I recognized it was fake or whatever, they were like offering me like an opportunity. They're like, oh, we have a scholarship opportunity for you. Oh. So they were, so it was just like, this person's not out of the blue offering me something like this. What do they do? I know this person would never do this.
Yeah.
So like, but I was fooled for a second. I accidentally like added them, and then I deleted them as quickly as I could.
Yeah. Joe almost fell for something.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they ever got any data, but like I said, I use like some random passwords and stuff. So I make sure like I'm secure as possible.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be secured, and just little things like that, like even earlier today, Roxy clicked on a link, and I told her don't click on it. It's their text messages, and you get random links, and then sometimes you get your identity stolen from these links by clicking on it. Oh, Cash App just sent me some money. Like, hey, wait. Why is Cash App sending you money? You didn't apply for anything. Why are you clicking that link? I've told numerous people do not.
Yeah, I think that's called phishing, maybe.
Correct. That's part of phishing. But they tried.
There's another way to do it.
There's another term for it because they send you a text message, and they say, "Hey, you have a UPS package," or "Hey, you got money coming into your bank account. Click this link, and we'll show you a tracking number or how much you're getting. Click this link." Well, when you click that link, like 10,000 things get downloaded to your phone at times.
So I'm not sponsored by them at all, but I just want to tell people this. LastPass. If you Google that, LastPass, it's a free software. They have paid versions where you can put it on multiple devices, like on your phone, on your computer.
Correct.
So that's actually convenient. For me, it's not convenient. I can only do it on my one computer because I do the free version. But if you were actually like somebody who actually had the money to pay for it, it's really useful because you could have random passwords. Like all your passwords through last password, you have like a master password to access your account, and you write that down, right, or whatever.
Correct.
And that gets you into the whole system. But then you make a random password for every single account you have, like your email account, your YouTube, your Facebook, whatever. And then you have two-factor authorization on every single account that you can do that on. But then you have this random password that can be 12 to 20 characters or more. They can go up to 99 characters if the platform supports 99 characters. And some platforms have supported like 50 characters for me or some crazy number. But then I just got sick of like getting a message saying like we don't support that many characters. So then I just like sometimes like cut it at like 12 or 20 or whatever, right? But it's random and you can do like numbers. Some places don't take symbols, but it's amazing because every single account I have has a different random password, and the likelihood that people were able to get into every single one of my accounts is just crazy. So I'll be able to deal with security threats one by one as they come, if they ever came.
You just got to be careful when you use that. You actually, when you click on it, it actually, if you go into a fake website, if you don't look at the browser at the very top, and if you it takes you to the that, and it can actually steal all your information. If you hit, put in this information into that username and password, and you just gave your information away. So you got to be careful with that too, Joe.
Oh, you're saying if they made it look like exactly like the same website?
Yeah, that's phishing.
And if LastPass, I'm not sure if that's some test that somebody should be able to should do, if whether LastPass gets fooled, or whether LastPass recognizes it's not the website and doesn't.
You could also.
I don't think it does though. I don't think it puts the password and the username and the password in to a site that it doesn't. It's not legitimate. I'm not sure.
You could also do is click on the link at the bottom, and then once you click on that, you click on it, takes you straight to the website, straight to sign in. It signs you in automatically. I remember using that one time because I used to use it.
Yeah. What is it?
When you LastPass, when you go on there, you save the browser, save the login area. You click on it, and it takes you straight to the sign in page and signs you in and logs you in automatically instead of going to the page manually.
Yeah.
You do it through this here. You go through the LastPass. That's another way to sign in.
No, I see what you're saying. Like that might be more secure, maybe.
Correct.
One of our viewers, Zopaz, says he uses Google Keeps. I've never heard about that before.
Yes, I've heard about that, but I don't trust.
I don't trust.
Yeah, I don't trust much on Google because they're like one of the factors of getting hacked. No.
Yeah, it's a note-taking service. It's free, web-based, Google Doc editor. Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drawings. Yeah. Interesting. So it's basically like it's kind of like Google Drive.
Yeah, definitely.
But like more for like notes and stuff.
So what he does is actually what Zopxz or Zopax, whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know how you say your name, but it looks like it's like he keeps track of his the website link, the username and password in there, and that's what he looks like he does.
Yeah. The thing is though, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's any. That might be the same thing, right? Because
Correct.
there's one master password to get into LastPass. So if they get the master password, they get into everything else.
Correct.
But they have to know. They have to know what the LastPass like. Man, I don't even know. I have to go back to the LastPass to see if it's a username or it's an email, and then whether like what they tell you to do is like write that password down.
Correct. And I actually got my what's that thing called? My LastPass account. Somehow something happened to my LastPass account. I could not log in, even with my master key. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's when they changed the settings or what.
It's really weird actually. I think I might be wrong, but I thought that one time I couldn't find my master password, and I had them send me my master password through my email.
Interesting.
Which I couldn't get mine which might be a flaw then. You know what I mean? But at the same time though, if you have two-factor authorization for your email, then it's a little bit less likely. You know what I mean? But you have to like imagine if you couldn't get into your LastPass and then you have all these different websites and then you have to have them send it all to your email and then remake new passwords and stuff and make a new. It's not that big of a deal.
It's probably they just keep track of your main password, the master one, not your individual account.
Who? LastPass?
LastPass.
Well, they keep track of all of it, but I'm not really sure. Like, oh man, I got. If somebody knows more about LastPass, let us know about it. But
I think they just kept track of your master key, so in case you forget it, they could call tech support and they could send it to you. I think that's the main key.
Every website I go to, it says, "Do you want to save the username?"
No. Yes. It's just that the master key is the key to unlock your account.
Yeah,
it's like the key, the main key. So
no, I get it. So what do you mean by that? Like they.
Because I think you were saying, correct me if I'm wrong, you were saying that if you have to go to the other accounts,
your email.
Yeah, for every single account that you have on profile. Right? Is that what you're saying?
That you had to if you got locked out of your master password, like your master password, you have to make a new account and then do everything. Yeah, then you have to do the prove who I am to every single account to go back to your email or whatever.
Correct, for every single account,
cell phone,
if you can remember. Yes, yes.
SMS.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure if I understood correctly.
Which is good though. I'm glad that you can do like SMS and email to make a new password if LastPass. The point is LastPass with making the random generator, even if they did get hacked or something, right? Or you got hacked or whatever, that's still a lot of data, right? Like it takes a lot of time to go to all those different websites and to put these random passwords in there. Yeah. It is more secure than what you can do on your own. And because they do random, you can use the random generator, and you can keep it on Google Keeps or whatnot. But the thing is, though, the reason why it's cool to have LastPass is because then you have like a master code, right? That it's built into your browser, right? So it does this for you, and so you don't have to go back to Google Keeps and copy and paste every single time you go into a website. It like speeds up the process.
Also, too, that
kind of gets tedious to do Google Meets,
See, but here's a question, Joe. Can you integrate? Can you actually integrate LastPass to your biometrics or your PIN?
Interesting.
The Apple.
I don't know. I wonder if it's like a
an integration feature.
If there's something that they might do in the future, or they just something that I don't know about, so I could look into that.
Yeah, that is something interesting because, like, since the topic is about a lot of it about that security thing. If it's something interesting, if it does work, I would recommend it even more to our viewers. Like, hey, look at this. There's another security. You could actually have this. You have master key. You have your master key, and then you actually have your biometrics. That'll be pretty dope.
No, that would be the ultimate master password, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And this one website says you can like support Log Me In Incorporated. So I'm wondering if that, if people go look it up, I think it's possible.
I'll take a look.
LastPass password manager,
yeah, so
that's pretty cool.
That is pretty dope.
Look into it. Make sure you're safe, guys. And then when you think it's safe and everything, that is definitely pretty sweet. That is okay. That is something that might get me into the biometrics. You hooked me there.
I get people hooked on things.
He brought me into the, oh my gosh. Give it all away. Give it all away and reel it in.
I've been 13 years in IT, man. 13 years. And I know how many passwords you could have in IT. So, man, it's so crazy out there in this world.